Again, welcome. This is your floor planner. Welcome, introduction, and demo on this day, May 4th, 2023. I like to mention the date because floor planner keeps evolving. We have a lot of technology out there in the world, and floor planner programmers keep taking advantage of that, and they keep implementing new changes. So I just want to make sure, as a matter of point of reference, this is how everything stands as of today. May 4th, 2023, and welcome. Appreciate you all being here. A little background about me. Yes, my name is Bob. I am based here in the United States. I'm based on the East Coast of the United States in Delaware, in a small little coastal town called Rehoboth Beach. Although I'm here in the United States, Floorplanner is actually a platform out of Europe, out of the Netherlands, out of Rotterdam specifically. And because we're kind of a Dutch company, if you will, we're not real big on job titles. So let's just say I'm here for customer success. I'm here to support you all as you learn about Floor Planner and as you develop your technique of utilizing Floor Planner. A lot of diversity as to whom you all are as users of Floor Planner. When Floor Planner started back in 2007, we started by supporting primarily the real estate professionals in the Netherlands and surrounding countries over in Europe, which we still do today. But then, of course, the value of Floor Planner started being noticed by others, certainly interior designers, architects, builders, developers, educators, big thing in the past handful of years with our remote learning that's been going on. So again, a lot of diversity as to whom you all are as users of Floor Planner, communicating anything about two-dimensional space planning and of course dynamic three-dimensional interior view renders. So here's a little bit of my background to see how I actually relate to your industries. I believe I've touched base with all of your industries in my career. I am a licensed architect here in the United States. I'm licensed down in Florida and also up in New York. I am a member of the American Institute of Architects. I've also been a guest speaker for Autodesk University, talking about how to communicate using technology such as Floor Planner, communicating our design intent ideas to others with a baseline of storytelling, which comes from my career working with the Walt Disney Company, where I worked with a great team there doing store planning and design for their retail locations at their theme parks and resorts around the world. Worked in residential, commercial, retail design. I've supported the interior design industry and retailers here in the United States, managing and directing dedicated CAD departments, computer-aided drafting, great teams of CAD specialists. That primarily, we primarily worked with Autodesk products, Autodesk, AutoCAD 2D, AutoCAD 3D modeling, more elaborate renderings, those gorgeous images through 3ds Max. Phenomenal softwares, love them. And one thing I discovered in working with my clients and the clients of the design teams that I worked with is that everybody wanted something faster. Everybody was watching all these great shows for interior design on TV, and they're like, everybody's doing that so fast. They're doing it with tablets and iPads and magic. It's all done. I want to see that. I don't want it quick, yet it takes time using these other softwares. They're highly technical, it takes time to learn them, know them, and it takes time to generate the documents themselves. Yet I was always looking for the answer. What is the answer? And sure, I tried to create my own, but Floor Planner nailed it. Floor Planner found that marriage between computer-aided drafting and the gaming environment, meshed them together, and since 2007 certainly has been quite popular as people are discovering us worldwide. We now have over 25 million registered users of Floor Planner around the world, and I'm slowly getting to know many of you through these webinars. But this is where I made my change in my career path. Was I wanted to be on board with this effort because this was the solution for myself and the designers I was working with, but also as I found with the other retailers, as everybody's coming on board with Floor Planner, seems to be the correct direction. So I think we're all in the right place at the right time. And let's talk a little bit more about, how do you communicate your design intent? I'm kind of old school architect, hand drafting. Yep. And then, of course, I got on board with the other softwares that are available, electronic communications for sure. Autodesk, love the products. They're complex. And then trying to make it more simplistic. SketchUp came out to try to still get those dynamic images. Another great platform, but these all have learning curves. They all take time. They also keep advancing, making modifications and changing. And then, of course, all our hardware came out, our iPhones, our tablets, our iPads, and with all the app possibilities to have the developers having and programmers opportunities to develop apps. Obviously, Floorplanner did also, as another opportunity out there. And so with all the choices that you have out there, welcome to Floorplanner. Floorplanner is designed to be user-friendly, not complicated, not having 300 filters that you have to determine how am I going to make this image work and to get it to you quickly, but giving you really great quality images. We're not going to go into every aspect of Floorplanner. I'm going to try to talk as much as I can today, but know there's an incredible amount of diversity in Floorplanner. You're building a 3D model inside Floorplanner, you're building it in the cloud. You can take this all the way from your two-dimensional plans to your gorgeous three-dimensional interior images that you're rendering, go all the way up to virtual reality, goggles, taking it down to 3D tours, interactive gaming, real-time render experiences for your clients. Really, really cool. Like I said, there's over 25 million registered users of Floorplanner around the world currently, and that Floorplanner does keep evolving. We have advances that occur monthly. We've had as many as 5 advances in a given month. So we're always working for opportunities to communicate that information to our users, such as yourselves, to know, what's changed, what's new. So we can see that on your platform when you log into Floorplanner, and we also have these webinars and live webinars that are always dedicated to giving you that newest information. So you're in a good place for today, for sure. Basics about Floorplanner. One great thing, you don't have to download anything. Yay, fantastic. Yay, this is really super. We can go ahead and open up Floorplanner on any device. Doesn't matter if it's Windows driven, doesn't matter if it's Apple driven, as long as you have a good internet connection. We are a web-based program. You're working in the cloud. So make sure you have a very strong internet connection. It's very important. And how do we get to the internet? Is through your browser. So do you have a secure browser that works very well for you geographically wherever you are in the world? Myself here in the United States, East Coast, Delaware, Google Chrome has been working really great for me. I've had no hiccups, no problems, no difficulties. So again, you'd make the determination what's the best browser for you in the area where you have a strong internet connection. The diversity of being able to open up Floorplanner on multiple devices, incredibly valuable. I'm working at my home office currently, working with a Windows-based PC, mouse and keyboard. I could open up Floorplanner, work on my project here for my client, save it to the cloud, close down my computer, and go out to meet with my client out in the field at their location. But I don't want to drag my computer with me. So I'm going to take something different. This is my Windows-based PC. I'm going to take my Apple-based iPad. Much more convenient, much easier to carry. Take it out to the field, connect to the internet, meet with my client. All the images I created, my two-dimensional plans, my three-dimensional camera views, they're accessible to me while I'm out in the field. I can meet with my client, make my presentation. Plus I'm on site. So architect, hey, we can go over and actually field measure the actual location, modify my 3D model inside Floorplanner, save it to the cloud, say goodbye to my client, come on back to my happy place, back to my own home office with my PC and my mouse and my keyboard, and go ahead and open up the same project and continue working on it, refining it for my next level of presentation. So hopping between devices, totally awesome with Floorplanner. Plus, we're cloud-based. So all of your projects, the files are created out in the cloud. They're stored in the cloud. They're backed up in the cloud. They're safe in the cloud. Most importantly, they're accessible to all your devices wherever you open them. So you're not transferring files from one device to another with a flash drive, external hard drive, or trying to email some massive file from device to device. Also being cloud-based, this mysterious cloud, which is a huge bank of computers. I think it's actually more than one bank. I believe we're based out of Ireland and Germany, where we're actually housing our hardware and such. But these huge banks of computers are extremely powerful. I myself, as an architect, I have a very strong computer myself for my independent work that I do with other softwares. But my render times, even with a very powerful computer, can take a day to 2 days full power to make one beautiful rendering. Floorplanner is a little different. We can send our model out to the cloud for that same quality rendering and get it back as fast as 20 seconds because you're using the cloud-based computers. So really, really cool stuff. I prefer to use a mouse and keyboard, but inside Floorplanner, there's some great advances from the past year that when you go into your 3D view inside Floorplanner, you now are able to move your items around in 3D. You also have 3D handles on the items that you select that you can go ahead and move the items orthogonally. You can rotate them visually. You can lift them up in the air to accessorize shelf units inside 3D. Artwork on the wall where you're trying to make that composition and trying to make those decisions. How should it look? Which is pretty hard to do when you're in just two-dimensional view. So you can do all this while you're in 3D now. And by being able to have these 3D handles in there also, when you're working on maybe a tablet or an iPad, you can use your finger and move the items around, or an Apple Pencil, or even using a stylus to go ahead and make these decisions. So more and more power, more and more creativity, like magic. How do you get started? Well, it wasn't so tough. We have 6 different subscription levels out there. If you happen to come on board with Floorplanner as a basic user, introduction, free, to learn about Floorplanner, how hard was that? It was an email and the password. Ta-da, you're done. So you're inside Floorplanner, you've been able to create 3-dimensional models, 2-dimensional images of those 3-dimensional models, and been able to export those as JPEG images, not a problem. Getting started, not tough. Credits. Credits are the monetary system inside Floorplanner. What are credits? Basic account, entry-level free account with Floorplanner has some limitations, and it does not paying for anything, so you're not getting any credits. The other 5 different subscription levels with Floorplanner issue credits. But even as a basic user, you can do a pay-as-you-go, and you can buy like a minimum 5 credits, so you can also elevate your projects, because that's what credits are for primarily, to elevate your project level. So no matter what subscription or account you are with Floorplanner, there's 6 of them, you have credits, and there's credits used to upgrade your project level. There's 4 paid project levels inside Floorplanner. So what's different about all of those levels? What's different about those levels is that the final image that you're creating, it's its resolution and its pixel count. You determine the purposes of why you need some higher resolution image. A lot of our top 100 retailers that we work with here in the United States have determined that their best presentations for their clients have been as HD level. It's the second level up in our 4 different levels. It's an SD, HD, 4K, and 8K. 8K a little bit higher. Actually, it's the highest level. That would be more for marketing purposes. So it's all available to you. So credit's not a great mystery. There are other functions for credits for certain account levels to actually build 3D models. So again, fairly simplistic in that regard. Information beyond what we're talking about today, when I say goodbye to you all, is that you can go to the floorplanner.com website. They have all this pull down information up here at the very top to tell you more about the company, how things work. But I want to concentrate just on the support tab for you all today. Go to the support tab at floorplanner.com and you have all this additional training material available to you. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, there is a reference manual. We call it an editor manual. This document is a PDF. Download it to your devices. You have Apple, put it in your iBooks. You have Windows, put it on your desktop, but definitely print yourself a hard copy of it. There's one page inside this document that is a shortcut hotkey page for your keyboard. Please print that out. Keep it handy while you're developing your technique in Floorplanner. I think you're going to find it extremely beneficial. It's not a long, crazy list, but there's really great tools in there that I'm sure you're going to love using. That'll speed up your production as you're working in Floorplanner. Following Floorplanner on social media, we're kind of everywhere. As I mentioned specifically, that we are advancing monthly, and there's these different changes that make Floorplanner more powerful. They're listed when you log into Floorplanner for sure, but maybe you're not logged into Floorplanner 24/7. And I'm sorry to say I'm not logged into Floorplanner 24/7 either. Yet, you want to be notified when something goes new. I want to know about the new tool. So the programmers over in the Netherlands will actually send out a tweet. So if you happen to follow Floorplanner on Twitter, I'm not a big tweeter person, but I do follow Floorplanner on Twitter, you'll get notification. My Twitter comes to my phone, and yes, I get notifications. As soon as something goes live inside the Floorplanner system, then I log in and make sure I take a look at it. Really nice. There's also a link in here to the Floorplanner channel on YouTube, which are the recorded videos for training purposes. I'm in there. You'll see a lot of my recordings out there. If you hear somebody talking in Dutch and it's not me, or great Dutch accent, odds are it's a little older. Still great information, but the platform, like I said, keeps evolving, so it's going to look a little different. Good information, but you want to try to get the best information that's newest. Even my videos get stale quickly. We are working on some new videos for 2023, but in the effort to give you the best information, they're the live webinars. And there's a link inside here, right here, that will also take you to the live webinars. Up till just a couple days ago, there are 4 of them. Well, now there are 5 of them. So we've actually increased those live webinars. They're free. You can log in as many times as you like to. You just have to register for each one. They're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time USA, and also 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 p.m. That was Tuesday and Thursday. Now we've added an additional brand new webinar on Wednesdays to take you to the next level of your 3D modeling. The actual 3D export settings to make more impressive renderings. It's not very complicated, but I've had a lot of questions about it. Say, can we take a little dedicated time for that? So we did so. We added this webinar on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, there's an introduction webinar, which is on Thursdays, which you're in right now. So you found me with no problem, 11 o'clock. There's also an advanced tools webinar beyond this learning curve on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time USA. There's also one dedicated webinar, the same time slot, 11 o'clock on Tuesday mornings, to talk about those 6 subscription levels and the 4 different project levels in more detail. And taking some more time, have a chance for more Q&A and questions and answers with you all. Then there's one last webinar, which is on Thursday afternoons, but that one is exclusive to just pro account subscription levels up through enterprise accounts, talking more about setting up your structure, because it's about features that are available just to those account levels. When you start getting into more branding, templates, title blocks, watermarks, and all those additional features that are available from pro subscription up through enterprise. But otherwise, there's other now 4 webinars open, free for everybody. There's blog posts out there, a link up here. There's a link also to very inspirational images created by others. 25 million users. Yes, we have a lot of great images being created. Inspirational images posted on Instagram, also on Pinterest. I've also found many of you all posting through LinkedIn and Facebook, so I appreciate that. Your images that you're showing for your companies are gorgeous. Absolutely well done. There's also a contact tab in here. I always get the question, hey, Bob, where's the help? Where's the help button? You're never dead-ended in Floorplanner. You've never been dead-ended in Floorplanner. You just have to find it. So it's the support tab at floorplanner.com and the contact tab. Contact tab is really awesome. It's a simple little form. It's your name, email address you want the response to come back to. If you happen to have a website of your company, great. If you don't worry about it. General topic of your question and the question. Hey, I opened up my Floorplanner platform, opened my project, the background turned pink, and all of my furniture, objects, and assets all turned into yellow polka dots. Help me. Why? Why did it do that? And hit send. And it will go off to the Netherlands. Please don't send that message. They'll not be happy with me. But the support team over in the Netherlands, they're awesome. They've certainly had many of these questions previously, and they'll get you an answer. I think you'll find Floorplanner is very, very responsive. The support team over in the Netherlands, and myself here in the United States, more of a training support. We all have direct lines of communication to the programmers, which is a great thing. So when your questions are coming through, we can get it straight to the source, which means we can get you a quicker answer with true fact information. But if there's an issue going on, maybe a technical issue, we are then putting it in the hands straight away to the programmer that can take care of it. So if all of a sudden you had a light fixture or a lamp fixture and it showed great in 2D and you went to your 3D rendering and it just didn't illuminate, let us know, please. We get it to the hands of the programmer and they're like, we'll get it fixed. Not only will get you an answer, probably while we're getting you the answer, it's already been resolved. So communication, very important to us. And you have that certainly with Floorplanner as we keep evolving and growing. Then what does the editor manual look like when you find it? That's just a screenshot of the cover page, so you know that you certainly have downloaded the right one. A screenshot of my desktop, my dashboard for my home page and my Floorplanner account. Similar to yours, for sure, the structure is about the same. Upper left-hand corner is the profile tab. There's 4 little squares up there. If you select that, it'll tell you all about yourself. I know there are others out there that are enterprise accounts, so you're working with companies, you're actually a sub-user of your company. This will still be your information as a sub-user of your company. Also, when the profile tab is selected, it gives you the right-hand toolbar over here. Starting in the upper right-hand corner is the marquee of those registration links for all the live webinars. If you go there and keep us just stare at it long enough, it rotates every 15 seconds to reveal the different 5 flavors of webinars. Watch for the one you want, hit the join button, and you've already done this, so you understand how to go ahead and log in and register for those webinars. Fill out as much information as you can, because there's a little comment section inside there. And I really appreciate when those of you that actually make comments and they're saying, hey, I really want to learn more about this or that. I do review those before every live webinar. So any information you can tell me ahead of time if you have a concern, trust me, I'm taking a peek at those. And then next line down here are those new features. Remember, they're being tweeted out, but they're also posted here with the most current new feature, new advance posted up here at the top. If you hit the more button up there, inside that button, it'll take you to another link that'll cascade all of the advances in the past year. You can scroll through them very, very easily and take a quick glance at maybe something you might have missed. The cool examples that I talked about on Instagram, inspirational images of others, certainly there's another link here that'll take you to the same. Lower right-hand corner, the more on button will take you to that same link to the Floorplanner channel on YouTube for the recordings that are out there. And this one giant featured video down here in the bottom right-hand corner, this is something special I do every month. So I will actually do a recording that talks about the advances that occurred in the previous month. The programmers are doing a great job of communicating it to you all so you're aware of what happened and what's new. I just take it a little further to say, these are the new advances. Let me show you how to use them. I'll keep my video down short. I'll try to hold it never longer than 20 minutes. So I don't take too much of your time, but definitely that's available to you. We won't always have a source for you, so you are totally informed. With the profile tab selected, the top 2 rows in here are 2 rows worth of your projects stored in the cloud, backed up in the cloud. The bottom 2 rows down here are 2 rows worth of your exports. These are your 2-dimensional plans, your furniture plans and layouts, also your 3-dimensional camera views. And if you take it even further with the 3D tours, your hyperlinks, they're all in there also. The different webinars, going to have to kick this up. We need to add that 5th one in there, which we've at least noted too, that that new one is on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock. And also the subscriptions. Not going to go crazy about this. Like I said, there's a webinar for this on Tuesday mornings, but there are 6 different subscription levels inside Floorplanner. Basic entry level is free. Learn about Floorplanner has its limitations. Basic, Plus, and Pro are single 1-person users to an account. If you are using Floorplanner for business professional type persons and purposes and you're 1 person to your account, look at the Pro account, please. There's an issuance of those credits, which is important. And there's also new features inside there that are valuable to you as a company, business, independent business, 1 person. Branding, title blocks for your 2-dimensional documents, also putting watermarks on your 3-dimensional images, branding with your logo, your company, a lot of other features, including room styles. Room styles are collections of furniture, full decor, designing a room. If I have a room type that's a living room, I can make multiple, as a pro account and higher, I can make multiple room styles. So I could say I want to make a room style for Bob's contemporary room. I could go ahead and do this so that it's actually going to be a specific flooring material, specific wall material, specific sofa, side chair, coffee table, orchid on the table, artwork, puppy dog, lamps, lights, plants. You're actually designing the entire room. I could make another one and call it Bob's Contemporary 2, and then make a traditional one, transitional one, etc. You can make all these collections of furnishings. What's awesome about the room styles as you build them is that you can deposit them later, start a brand new job, draft out any other living room for some other client and say which style works best for them, pick that one. You can deposit that room style inside that empty room and it populates and will actually do decor inside the entire room automatically for you. It's going to place the furniture based on algorithms, not a total artificial intelligence. That's kind of good. It's not going to replace an interior designer by any means, but it does get the whole collection in there based on logic. The coffee table is in front of the sofa, etc. But then you're going to do all the finesse after that because you're in full control. Delete certain items that you don't want in there, add from other collections, move the items around properly, do your proper space planning. It's a high-speed way, though, to get your entire decor off and running in a room. So room styles, highly, highly valuable. Pro accounts and higher can make as many as you care to. If you are a group utilizing Floorplanner, multiple users, you're talking about being a Teams, business, or enterprise accounts. Teams accounts go up to 10 users on the account. Business accounts go up to 100 users on the account. Enterprise accounts are unlimited users on the account. Quick little note about business and enterprise accounts being a little bit more corporate as they are, because I always get the question saying, hey, Bob, you got over 180,000 objects of 3D components of furniture, accessories, puppy dogs, people, unicorns, T-Rexes. Yeah, they're in there. They're actually in there. And you have brand access. We have retailers coming on board with this. So and now we have vendors and manufacturers coming on board with this, which I have an additional almost 80,000 items inside there. So we have a lot, very, very many, but you still have that something you want to have as a model inside your Floorplanner platform because you've got to use it. How do I do that? Can I just upload it? No, but business and enterprise accounts are unique. Business and enterprise accounts can contract with Floorplanner to host a 3D model that's made by others. There's other companies out there building 3D models for sure. We have great relationships with them, Ntiaro, Cylindro, etc. That model piece would certainly need to be optimized to make sure it functions best inside Floorplanner and evaluated and then hosted. So yes, Floorplanner can host a model from others. It's doable. Business enterprise accounts are the only accounts that can contract with Floorplanner to do so. And maybe there's an item that's never been built in 3D. Well, we have an incredible team of modelers ourselves. Very, very cost effective. I've done the quoting pricing before checking out other companies in the world, and yeah, very modest. And we can build obviously the items perfectly to function with inside Floorplanner. They're gorgeous. And then also the same idea of hosting them inside the platforms. Cool thing about business enterprise accounts, many of them, almost all of them are sharing those model pieces with the entire Floorplanner community here in the world. All of us do see them, except if you happen to be an enterprise account yourself. Your company may see these as competitors. And if that's the case, your company as an enterprise account may have limited you to only see your products and our general library of assets of 180,000 other items, but you might not see the other brands. But otherwise, the rest of us, yeah, have access to those other brands because those enterprise accounts that are sharing those models get the benefit with those items to have a little view store button associated with their model piece, which is a link so you can learn more about those items, the actual specs of that item, including e-commerce, how to purchase it. So it's a great marketing endeavor for business and enterprise accounts that are out there. And we all as a Floorplanner community certainly are benefiting to having access to these phenomenal products, which also have additional features in there for changing materials, finishes. Yeah. Very, very nice. So enjoy this and keep your eyes open because this is changing almost daily these days. We've got so many people coming on board with us that are posting and sharing their model pieces. And you'll see more of the vendors and manufacturers coming on board. That's happening currently. All this data is available to you through the pull down menu for the pricings tab. Of course, we talk about this in more detail, certainly on Tuesday mornings at 11 o'clock. The different project levels, I kind of gave you an introduction to this, SD, HD, 4K, 8K, the different resolutions, the pixel counts, so the quality of the renderings, yes, the expense associated with building them to build those projects. An SD level, great place to start, obviously. SD level is 2 credits to build it, no matter what your monetary system is around the world. I'm going to tell you that's by far less than a cup of coffee. Easily, for sure. And as you go up the line with the 6 different subscription levels, the cost and expense actually gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But a quick note, those of you that are basic and plus accounts out there currently, yeah, you got a little free one out there. It's called SD Lite. That's nice. It's nice to learn about Floorplanner. Been a great benefit for you, I'm sure. It has limitations. You can create 1 floor of a multi-story project. You can only build 1 design per any 1 project. Still pretty nice. Nice for a free project. When you take your 2-dimensional floor plan, you take a 3D model, send it out to cloud to get a 2-dimensional plan back. It's going to come back as an 8.5 by 11. Excuse me, I'm talking imperial dimensions, inches. Letter size sheet, and it's going to come back scale to fit, proportionally correct, but not a measurable scale. And it's going to be an okay resolution. They're going to be good documents. We can do better. Same thing with your 3-dimensional renders. So you have limitations inside there. When you actually start paying for a project and you start with an SD level project, which many of us do, that's pro accounts up to enterprise accounts. You all are starting your project as SDs, 2 credits to build it. What I'm about to list of information that's available to you as an SD is applicable for the SD, the HD, the 4K, and the 8K. The only difference between those is the resolution. So what do you get? I can now build for that 1 project, a multi-story project up to 7 floors. Yay, okay. We can also, I think more importantly than multiple floors and multi-levels is we're interior designers and such, we want to go ahead and show different versions, different options, different designs. You can go ahead and create one room as one design or multiple rooms of one floor of a house and say, okay, I did it with the furniture, I did it with the materials, my finishes, everything's great, super, showed it to my client, it's all wonderful. Client loves it. Hey, Bob, love it, it's great. Except, could you just show me options? I'd like to see some options just to make sure I'm making the right decision. Yes, as an SD level and higher, you can do multiple designs. So for that same 2 credits, no additional fees or anything, you can duplicate the design that you built, rename it and modify it. So I can call it Bob's option 2. I can change the furniture I put into it, different selections, objects. I can change the space planning. I can change the finishes, the materials. I can even change the architecture. So it'd be a second option. I can go back to the original, make another duplicate in the same project. I call it Bob's option 3. Do it again, up to 10 times. Up to 10 times per every floor. So yes, we could do 70 different options for our client. A little crazy, but there's other reasons for doing different designs, even specific camera views and things you want to edit without corrupting your original design in the same project. Very, very valuable. A really cool benefit as an SD and higher is that you were doing JPEGs as an SD Lite with its limitations. Now you have an option for a PDF. So you're building a 3D model and you can go ahead and show it as a PDF 2-dimensional plan. Highly recommend if you're sending out these furniture plans and you're an SD or higher, don't just do a JPEG, send it out as a PDF because you get a better resolution. Plus, you have benefits on top that come with a PDF. As a PDF export, you can go ahead and change the layout sheet size, 8.5 by 11 inches, a letter size sheet, or 11 by 17 ledger size sheet, larger, an architectural plotter size, 18-inch by 24-inch architectural C size sheet, or even bigger, 24-inch by 36-inch architectural D size sheet. Still scale to fit if you want, or to scale. Talking imperial again, teeny, 16th inch equals a foot, way small. 1/8 inch equals a foot, 1/4 inch equals a foot. Our interior design favorite. It's our standard here in the US for sure. Plastic templates are 1/4 inch scale. So yeah, 1/4 inch, great for presentation. You need something larger, send it out as a 1/2 inch equals a foot. Ta-da. Great. You can also put a scaling block on those documents. So when it goes to your printer or to your copy machine or however you're sending it out, you can do a quick verification when it comes out of your machine with a physical scale and measure the scale block and make sure everything's communicating properly and your printer's working right. It's a proper document. Beyond those documents and the higher resolution that a PDF is that you can also download something of your project that's saved in the cloud. Remember, they're accessible on all devices, backed up in the cloud. It's a great place to keep them. They're in the cloud. But maybe you want ownership. I want a copy of my project. Yes, you can download it. You can download a copy of the project as an FML file format. If you don't recognize FML file formats, not a surprise, it's unique only to Floorplanner. So it's only going to open in Floorplanner. It's only going to be inserted in Floorplanner, but you have ownership of it. You can also download a DXF file. You have a 3D model created in Floorplanner. You can download it as a 2-dimensional plan of the structure vector file as a DXF file. If you understand that language, or even DXF, you'll realize that DXF files open in other platforms. So there's kind of a transference from Floorplanner to others. DXF, certainly with AutoCAD, will open and can be inserted inside AutoCAD. So depends on what your needs are. Nice benefits out there for sure. And again, all of these benefits of the first level of a paid for project do roll over to all 4 of these. The only difference between any of these is the resolution of the final image you're creating. You can start a project at these levels, but you can also elevate a project edit in the future. You can always modify it later that you need it for higher purposes and you need to have higher resolutions. You can update a project at a later date, do an edit to it for sure. Moving on. The quality of these images is all the same. We're using a Blender rendering engine inside Floorplanner. Very, very awesome photorealistic rendering engine. The only difference between these is truly just that resolution. So they all are equally photorealistic images. It's just your determination and everything else we spoke of. Starting with the SD light, I've exhausted myself telling you all about that. We'll move on for a second. And also when you start with the paid for pro accounts up through enterprise accounts, starting with the SD level project up here, these are your options that are available to you. Now, if you happen to be an enterprise account out there currently and you're working for your company, the administrators of your company have the ability to set what are called roles, authorities, permissions to each level of team member. So you may have some limits inside here. You may just have SD, you may have SD and HD. Most of the interior designers have all the way through 8K. Again, that's just a matter of your administrators limiting you as a specific team member. But I'm sharing everything with you. So if something in here is striking you, please talk to your managers and say, there's something Bob said, and I think that's really important. Okay, outside of this information inside here, you can certainly enter the name of your project when you start up. Your company may have a naming structure, so you might want to follow that. Of course, you could edit this information later if you had to, if you did it wrong, but at least have your client's name in there for sure. Address of the project itself. I like to have this information inside there because I may go back to a project a day, a week, a month, a year from now. I'd like to remember what the project address was. You don't have to have an address to start a project, but you can go back and edit that information, add it in later. Pro accounts and higher, the multiple templates that can be created, the title blocks for different purposes. Yeah. And I'm going to mention something a little more complex before I exit this page. There's a little caveat, a little add-on over here, kind of an a la carte thing. 3D tours. If you added a 3D tour function to that project, which you can do it later, you can start that way also. If you check off this little box, it's 5 credits additional to building the project. What happens with a 3D tour? With a 3D tour, you can send your 3D model out to the cloud to be rendered, but this time you're not going to get back a PDF 2-dimensional plan or a 3-dimensional camera view, JPEG or PNG image. You're going to get back a hyperlink. Hyperlink has no weight to it, and you can share that hyperlink with your client or your intended viewer of your project. You can send it in a text message, send it in an email, you can embed it into a Microsoft Word document, you can embed it into a PowerPoint presentation. It's a link. As long as the intended user or your client has their device connected to the internet, computer, phone, iPad, tablet, whatever, they'll open that link and they're going to go inside your project. They're going to go inside your 3D model as a viewer. They're not going to change your model, but they're going to be able to view inside your model. They're going to be able to move around inside there, look up, look down, check out everything you've built, independent of you. And they will see this, most importantly, this is the magic I always wanted to create myself, but Floorplanner did it, in real-time render. It's not a cartoon. It is that gaming environment. So they're actually inside your model looking around. Being an architect, I'm a little bit more of a control freak. I would like you to see the property the way I want you to see the property. So the camera views that I created or you created, they will also transfer in a pull down menu with that. So the client can go specifically to the camera views you created as you name them. Maybe I want to go to the living room, to the dining room, to the kitchen. Yeah, and you'll see it the way I wanted to have you actually take a look at the space. Real-time render, of course, again. And yes, there's a play button inside there. There is a video. We all love videos. I mean, how much expense and time does it take to get somebody to build a 3D clip video of your actual model? We do it. And it's a 3D tour through the entire model. Directed by you based on the camera views you created and the order that you place them. Floorplanner does the rest of the work for you. Floorplanner will know you want to start at the foyer, foyer to the living room, and Floorplanner will create all the animation between all of those points for you. Very, very nice. This link will also open in Oculus goggles. That's the old term, right? Yeah, Oculus goggles. Love these. These are now called Meta. This is a Meta Quest 2 without the wires, wireless. Here's a cool, full immersion. Yes, inside your entire 3D model. Beautiful, love it. Real-time render again, and you can have that whole experience of actually being inside, engaged inside that area. Great for your clients for sure, because you get more buy-in from them. They understand your design, they understand your model, they know what your intentions, and it also gives an opportunity to explore maybe something that you didn't think of that the client doesn't want, and they found it through exploring the model, and certainly you want to address that before it actually gets ordered or built. So safe while it's actually in the virtual world. Not everybody has Oculus goggles and such. So opening this link on your phone is my favorite place to do it because it looks great. It's mobile, super, the pull down, everything works. It's gorgeous. Hit the play button. Plus on your phone, you get a VR button, virtual reality. If you hit that VR button, it actually splits your screen into two circles, which is how you view 3D. And for those of you that don't have Oculus or Meta goggles, yeah, there are cardboard boxes out there in the world. Yeah, little plastic lenses. There's a link in there. These are extremely modest, cheap. But you put your phone inside, and all of a sudden you've got a virtual reality experience that you can throw in the trunk of your car. Take this, take your phone. Hey, have you ever done a virtual reality experience? Nice add-on benefit of our work that we're doing together. And yes, because the phone has certainly the geo tracking inside of it. It knows when you move. It knows when you move your head up, down, left, right, twirl around. Yeah, you get a virtual reality experience. It's not as nice, of course, as using Oculus goggles or Meta goggles, but mobile, totally doable, really, really fun. And there's 3D tours. Yeah, 5 credits, add a la carte on top of your project. Yes, but you can make as many 3D tours as you want of that one project, of course. So say, well, I want to change the story. I want different camera views. Well, then make different camera views, change the order of them, and send it out to the cloud again, and get yourself a different hyperlink and tell a different story. As many as you want to. There's not a limit on this, so it's really, really cool. I do show a demo of that actually in our advanced tools webinar. Editing the information in the background ghosted inside here are all of my projects. I just left click on one of those projects, gives me the left-hand sidebar, pick in there to edit the details of that project. And this is where you can say, I want to upgrade it to a higher level at a future date. I could say, spelled the client's name wrong. You can change that here. You can add that address at a later date. Change a template if you want to, modify it. Just make sure you hit the update project button because that's how you communicate out to the cloud. Very, very important that you always communicate these changes to the cloud because it's really not working on your device. And this is basic language inside Floorplanner. To left click on anything once, and then you get a left-hand sidebar telling you what it is you clicked on. And then you get options in there as to what you can do with it. So I could click on a project as we just talked about. You could click on an export. You could click on a room that you drafted. You could click on a wall. You could click on a sofa. You could click on a puppy dog. Whatever you click on, this is how it works in Floorplanner. Click, look, options, pick one, go. Trying to keep it simple. The quality of the images. Can't beat it. I made this really, really fast. I dragged some pieces of furniture in there and just did a really quick render in here just to show the intensity of the Blender render when it first came out in the past year. And I love it. The photorealism, we always had great images previous, but these are superior. And what you're going to find with these images is that they are extremely responsive to light levels. Your lights and lamps that can be turned on and off independently of each other. They have dimmer switches on there, but even the sunshine can be adjusted to be more radiant inside or less radiant because we're all subjective of, hey, Bob, my image looks a little dark. Hey, Bob, my image looks a little light. Then tweak it. You can adjust the radiance of the sun for the inside on this side of the glass. And you can even do it for the outside on the other side of the glass. So you are in control, and you'll find that as you tweak light levels to get more refined the way you want the image to look, and you re-render it quickly, which is very fast coming back, the photorealism is just amazing. Anytime I tweak anything, I'm like, going, oh, that looks good. You can see the details and level. It's just incredible. Yeah, you're always building a 3D model inside Floorplanner, but you can view it in 2D, and you have different options as to how you can view it. in 2D. One of them, kind of fun, it's blueprint mode. Yay, it looks architectural. Some of us actually remember actually making blueprints. So anyway, electronically, it's fun. It's, like I said, retro, if that's what your client wants, it's kind of cool. Black line drawings are actually my preference, though. Solid post-shade hatched walls, clean presentation, also accurate. They're all accurate because Floorplanner will be as accurate as you tell it to be. So where'd you get your dimensions? Did you actually go out to the site and physically do an as-built measure yourself? Did you take a tape measure? Did you take a laser measure, draft paper, wrote it all down, and went ahead and then transferred that information into Floorplanner, and you've got an accurate document? Did you get it from a set of blueprints, a plan set, planned to be built? And you transferred that information from there, great. If you happen to get an architectural set of documents that are all stamped with as built on top of there, it means the architect actually went back to the product after it was built, remeasured it, made a new set of documents, and stamped them all over the place as built. Rare to find these days because it's expensive. Most architects are not going back and remeasuring properties, but even that, it's an as built to a specific date. So again, good information. Maybe you got a marketing sheet. Maybe it's a marketing sheet. You know, a client comes in saying, I have the floor plan. It's like, it's not the floor plan, it's a marketing sheet. It's okay. It still shows a floor plan on there. You could take that information from there, but you know, marketing people, it could be, you know, yeah, some graphics people may have taken some liberties in there and maybe twisted it around, but if that's all you got, that's the best information you have. And it's gonna look absolutely truthful inside Floorplanner, but it really is only as truthful as you told it to be. Maybe you talk to your client on the phone and the client says, hey, I'm measuring the room. I got it. It's, yeah, it's kind of 13 feet or 14 feet or, you know, by 15, 6, 9, 20. That's what you're going to get. And that's what it's going to look like. So be cautious of where you get your information. And then you know that you can always update this information later. So if you have to change the model, it's not about you get better information, modify it. The rooms and areas can be selected. Let Floorplanner calculate the square footage or square meters of those areas. They'll post them inside there. There's also an option in the 2D settings to go ahead and turn on the interior design dimensions. And all of a sudden the running feet, the lengths of the walls will actually be posted numerically on your document also, which is great for cost estimating or more communication to your client. The rooms, the areas that you draft, don't know what they are until you tell them what they are. If you left click once inside a room, you get a left-hand sidebar. And one of the options is the room type, and it's gonna say room type unnamed. Name it. There will be a list, a pull-down menu over there for a house. There's a living room, a bedroom, dining room, yeah. Pick your room type, and you get a label. Yay, it's labeled. There's a little artificial intelligence that does run with that. There's a color blocking system associated. Each room type has a color. So we can do a color block presentation. Works great for real estate professionals for sure, interior designers. It's a nice document to create for initial communications when you're trying to outline which areas you're going to do work in and maybe making your scope of work for your contract agreement with your client. So room type and their color blocking system associated with them. And I told you a little bit about room styles, which are totally driven by the room types. So room types are very, very important. Color blocking, what does it look like? There's a default set of colors inside Floorplanner, which is fun. If you're pro accounts and higher, you can make those room type sets custom yourself, different colors, different names, etc. You're dragging and dropping three-dimensional furniture inside your 3D model and viewing it in 2D. One of the options in 2D is to view it as a wireframe drawing, black and white line drawing. This is my favorite. They're clean, they're awesome, they are scalable. And also remember those three-dimensional items from our general library, the 180,000 plus assets, have the ability to change on the 3D model, the width, depth, and height of those pieces. So if you had a client's existing furniture piece, a sofa that you have to work your design around, you went out to the site, you took a picture of it, you know what it looks like, you took a couple of measurements on there, you go into the Floorplanner library, find something similar, close to its appearance, and then change its dimensions to be the exact dimensions of your client's existing, or the same idea for specifying something. something that looks like what you're specifying, or change the dimensions. With all the addition of all the new retailer shared pieces, and also now the objects being introduced from the vendors and manufacturers, this is going to get more and more realistic because you're going to get a larger and larger library available to you. But the general items can be utilized and change their sizes. You can also click a switch. This is just one button, and all of a sudden you get it with the materials and finishes shown in a two-dimensional plan, still a scalable document. I used to have to do this with AutoCAD. I'd take the file out of AutoCAD, take it into Photoshop, do a layering system, and work my magic in about a day and get this back to you. Floorplanner has it already done. You just hit the button, say, I want that, and it's all finished. When you hop from 2D to 3D, the first view is a bird's eye view, dollhouse view, looking straight down on that product. Send them out as a render. Beautiful presentation. These documents are dynamic. Clients love them because they can understand them. Some clients just don't understand how to read a two-dimensional plan. I'm not sure why yet, but 3D certainly is much more, they're more receptive to a 3D image. This is not scalable anymore. Certainly it's a perspective image, but they're gorgeous. These are really beautiful presentation materials. But that model I just showed you is an actual condo building down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on the Atlantic Ocean. Beautiful down there. 11-story, like I said. You worked in 2D and you laid out your pieces of furniture and you did your space planning, your adjacencies, your traffic flows going through, and yay, I got it, nailed it. But what does it look like? What does it look like when I stand inside that room and look across from the kitchen to the dining room, living room, out to the balcony, and I see the heights of the furniture as they relate to each other? Does it work? What's it going to look like? What about even the decor or style of those pieces of furniture? How do they talk to each other? Again, what does it look like? You can put as many 3D camera views inside Floorplanner as you care to. These are preview images. These are not even renders at this point. So do the studies. This is added value to your product that you're creating for your client. Make them aware of it. And you're able to create as many of these for yourself as you're studying the project, making your design decisions, working with a team of designers, you're communicating to each other, and certainly sharing these with the client as progress images, again, added value to your services. And get their feedback to make sure you and they are on the same page for the design as you're going forward. When you start rendering these preview images, the realism starts kicking in. The mirrors start reflecting, the middle start reflecting, glass reflection, transparencies, the lights and lamps all can be turned on, off independently of each other. They all have dimmer switches on them so you can set the feeling for the room. The paints on the walls start taking on that eggshell sort of orange peel texture to them. The sunshine, you can get it low in the sky, let it come inside the room, roll across your furniture, reflections and all, looks really, really great. Please take advantage of using the sun. And that sunshine inside the room can be, like I said, increased or decreased, lighter, darker, same thing outside, increased and decreased outside. The view outside the window, this is a preset horizon line inside Floorplanner associated with the camera view. There's many of them inside Floorplanner. Cool thing and a fact of nature is that in Floorplanner, the horizon lines in those images, horizon line, follows the fact of nature. And the fact of nature is the fact that horizon lines follow your eye level, which is the camera height, no matter what floor of a building you're on. Didn't know that's kind of cool. That's what makes it look so realistic in your perspective. Well, that's nice. Like I said, this is over the Atlantic Ocean. This is a great condo unit. Fair to say our ocean down there in Florida is not green. Hope it's not. Although there's a lot of seaweed I heard lately. But this is actually green field, blue sky, white puffy clouds. That's one of the presets inside Floorplanner. You can actually upload your own JPEG PNG image of the actual view outside the window, which I highly recommend, especially if you're a real estate professional. You know, it's really the real property with the real view. And this is the real view of this unit. I actually stood on that balcony, took the shot, beautiful South Florida sunny day, and uploaded it into my PC and associated it with my camera view. An absolutely gorgeous image. For those of you that are real estate agents and professionals out there, yep, it's truthful and it's honest. Yeah, that building over there, truly is blocking part of that view out to the ocean. So, you know, again, totally truthful. Somebody wants to know how we actually learn this. Oh, please come for that Wednesday class for sure. Because that we're going to be talking all about how to do the renders, but we do talk some of this also in our advanced tools webinar on Tuesday afternoons. Wednesday, 11 o'clock, please. So moving along with that. Daytime, nighttime. Yes, flick of a switch. You can go ahead and reset the light levels in there. You can tweak these accordingly if it looks a little dark for you. The quality of the images, can't beat them. Cannot beat them. This is the amazing feature. I mean, I used to do this with other softwares and such, and it just took so long. Not going to go into this presentation. I really want to get to the live demo part on this, but definitely know that we will show these demos of the 3D tours in our advanced tools webinar on Tuesdays. Floorscanner, again, not going to go into this today because I really want to hop along, but do know there is an app that we created that works with iPhones 12, 13, 14 Pro, and the iPads 12, 13, 14 Pro, because they have a LiDAR scanning device inside there, and our app called Floorscanner. Definitely the Floorscanner for scanning a room to capture an actual 3D model, single room for free. And I'm just going to start this just for a second. It's just kind of how the app runs on my phone. Link it to your Floorplanner account, take your phone into the room, and you just start pointing it around the room. And I'm not going to go crazy showing you all of this today, but know that it happens instantaneously. It's capturing the room, builds a 3D model, saves it inside your Floorplanner account, and you're off and running. Styleboards, there are styleboards inside Floorplanner. It's one of your selections on the left-hand side and your pool and your icon tools over there. Play with this. This is certainly something you've done before, slideshow presentations, mood board presentations, but now you can do them inside Floorplanner with tons of advantages as to why they are so cool inside there. Let's get to our demo. This is where I want to spend some time with you. Don't forget about the keyboard shortcuts and hotkeys that are available to you through the editor manual, and custom images on the wall if you have enough time to stick it out with me at the very end of this webinar. So let's do it. Let's look inside Floorplanner. Welcome. You're viewing my account live right now. This is where we're actually create a project. So let's go ahead and do so. Logged into your platform, upper left-hand corner, there's the projects tab and there's the create project. We're going to hit the create project, going to go out into the cloud. Let's make sure I've got the no type template, trying to make it look more like yours out there. Different resolution levels that we talked about, enabling a 3D tour if I wanted to. I'll leave it as an SD level, keep it simple, and we'll call it Bob. Name it your client. Not going to put an address in right now. I could edit it later. 2 credits to do so. Hit start project. Goes out into the cloud. First 3 options are shortcuts. So the first one is a room wizard. I'm not going to go crazy about this, but know that this is kind of cool. It shows you shapes of rooms. Pick the shape of the room. It'll walk you through and ask you questions. How wide is it? How deep is it? How high is your ceiling? What type of room am I? And if you have room style collections already predetermined and created, you can pick from there and it populates the room and your model is made. And then you build from there. Upload an image. This is a shortcut to getting to the point to insert a JPEG, PNG, or PDF floor plan that you got from somewhere else and put it inside your actual Floorplanner project, scale it to real world scale. It's a giant sheet of paper. And then put your furniture right on top of it and do your space planning exercise and be done. Make a 2-dimensional document, or since you can see where the walls are, you can trace them and build a 3D model very easily. Don't have to do this with a background. You don't have to insert a background, but I find it extremely valuable. So definitely we'll show you this in just a second. But there's nothing you can't do in an empty plan that you could do in these other 2 shortcuts. So I just go straight away right for empty plan. And we're an empty plan. Welcome to it. You can only have one project open at a time. There it is. It's called Bob. If you ever forget what it was called, the name will be up here at the top center. The graph paper in the background, US imperial dimensions. We're talking about 1/4 inch scale. So there are 1 foot by 1 foot squares. You're always working in real world scale, 1 to 1. 1 foot equals 1 foot, 1 meter equals 1 meter. Upper left-hand corner, the plus and minus up there, it's a zooming in and zooming out, although I'm using a Windows PC right now with a roller wheel on my mouse, which is my preferred zoom. The bullseye over here on the left-hand side, it's a zoom extents button. If you ever get lost in 2D or 3D, it will center your project on your screen. Lower left-hand corner, you can hop between metric and imperial, feet and inches. You also have a tape measure command. Lower left-hand corner, if you activate it, it says, hey, tape measure. If you left click and drag out, it is a temporary measuring device, not putting a permanent dimension on your document, but there are reasons why you want to proof some dimensions for sure. If you ever want to get out of any command that you're in the middle of, you can hit the back button in the upper left-hand corner or hit your escape key on your keyboard. I'll hit escape and we're out the tape measure. These buttons down here in the bottom left-hand corner, don't worry about them. First one is structure. Second one is information like text boxes and dimension lines. And the last one, the furniture tab over there, are all 3-dimensional assets, not just furniture, anything other than the structure of your building. These are lock buttons. If you select them, you can lock them so you don't accidentally move anything. They were security asked for by some of our users last year to give them more confidence. If that's helpful for you and it makes you more comfortable, please do so. But remember to unlock if you're trying to make a change. I personally don't use these. They slow me down. We're in the 2D view right now. You can hop between 2D and 3D in the upper right-hand corner. With the 2D view selected, I showed you the types of images previously. There's the black line drawing with the black and white line drawing with this button right here. It looks like a cookie. The next one over with the blue and blue inside there, that thing says color. That is the color blocking system based on room types in your 2D view. And the full spectrum is just that. It's all materials showing. You have 3 ways you can show your 2D image. When you're ready to complete your document, either 2D or 3D, there's an export button up here, and it will walk you through additional steps when you send the product out to the cloud to create your document. Once it's been sent to the cloud, there's nothing you have to do. You could close down your computer, you can go get a cup of coffee, meet with your clients, go away. It doesn't matter. It will complete itself and it will be waiting for you inside your exports when you're ready to take a peek and review it. Download a good copy of it to your device, or you didn't like it, you can delete it. It's up to you. No reason to wait once it's been sent to the cloud. Toggle switch up here. These are settings. So it looks like 2 little toggle switches, which is all Floorplanner is. Pick a button and a toggle switch. Nothing complicated. But these are the power tools for 2D and 3D. So the settings tab is unique to 2D, and when you're in 3D, it's unique to 3D. There's some additional power tools that you can select inside there. Please learn what these are. Play with them, see what they do, put them back the way you found them. Until you get very comfortable using them, you may be like me and forget that you turned something off and wonder why it doesn't work anymore. So put them back, you'll be good. Name of the project up there, save. Yes, we're working on a cloud-based program, web-based. We've got to save all the time, because if you lost your power or you lost your internet connection or you dropped your device and broke it into a million pieces, you've lost your work. Don't worry about that. Floorplanner is auto-saving without you touching anything every 3 seconds to the cloud. Great. If you did something you didn't want to do, don't worry about it. You have an undo button. You can undo, 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 undo all the way backward. You have a redo button to redo your undos if you went back too far. Cool thing about the save button, if you say, hey, I woke up 2 days later and I go, you know, that project looked really better 2 days ago. I don't like what I've done. If you hit the save button, you can go back in time and you can restore a project. We started this project 5 minutes ago. This will change to hours, days, weeks, years. Yeah, you can restore a project backwards. I don't do this all the time, but it's nice to know it's there just in case you had to. It's a nice feature. Pull down menu up here, multi-story project up to 7 floors. Which floor are you working on or choose to work on at that time? The house up here in the upper left-hand corner, It's the floor planner logo. It's a house. If you want to go back to your original dashboard, go home, hit the house up there, and it'll take you back to your dashboard home page. It'll close your project, but in your home page, that's where your projects are stored, your other projects, and your exports. And it's also the formal location to actually log out of Floorplanner. Last stack over here of controls starts in the upper left-hand corner. This one is my favorite, is the multiple designs. If we build a project and want to build up to 10 different designs per floor, we're on floor 1 right now. There's nothing there, of course, it's empty, but over here on the left-hand side, that first design is what we have built right now. I want to make a copy of it. Hit the duplicate button, see where it says 1 design. We're going to duplicate this 1 design, and then all of a sudden it says 2 designs. I made a copy of it. Where are they? If you hit the 2 designs tab, or when it says 10 designs, however many you did, they'll be all listed in here with thumbnail images, preview images of them. Of course, they're empty, down to 10, named the way you wanted to. And this is where you're going to hop between which design do you want to have active to work on at that moment. Hit the back button over here, next button down. This is for the construction for your walls, doors, and windows, which we're going to do live in a second. Drawing a room, drawing wall by wall by wall by wall. Surfaces, they're planar surfaces like you would typically use for grass with daisies, water, lakes, pavers, driveways. But this is actually very valuable in our advanced tools webinar to talk about making custom ceilings, things that are not flat ceilings, things that are tray ceilings, things that are cathedral ceiling. Yeah, a little more complex. Doors and windows are going to drag and drop them into your plan, placing structural items, staircases, fireplaces, etc., and background settings. This is where we're going to trace the background again in just a moment. This is where you would actually insert a JPEG PNG image. That's where the shortcut would have taken you from our first page. Next tab down, information, placing labels, text boxes on your 2-dimensional plan. If you want to put some text inside there, placing symbols, architectural symbols, drag and drop them into your 2D image. Drawing lines. Yeah, you're building a 3D model all the time, but when you're in a 2D view, you can actually add lines. So if you needed a red line, a blue line, a thin line, a thick line, a dash line, for some purpose of communication, you can actually insert lines in your 2-dimensional document. Same thing with dimensions. There's automated dimensions occurring in Floorplanner all the time that you can turn on or turn off. Inside dimensions, outside dimensions, they're all there. But sometimes you need something specific. Here in the United States, we're talking about ADA requirements for wheelchair access, et cetera, and you need to have clearances, and you need to dedicate a space and say, I need to show that this has got to be 3 feet clear. You can place as many single dimension lines as you'd like to inside your 2D custom as you care to through this button. Next tab down, furniture. Yes, furniture, not just furniture. It is all the furniture, all the 3-dimensional objects that are available to you, plus all those other items, you know, plants, orchids, accessories, books, artwork, draperies, shutters, blinds, puppy dogs, unicorns, T-Rexes. Yep, they're there. General items in the categories in here, you got 180,000 plus items. Ooh, it's a lot of shopping. So they're subclassified down here to help you get closer to what you're looking for. There's also a search engine up here. So this is a database. So if something as simple as, you know, the word sofa, keep it simple. You know, what am I looking for? If I'm looking for sofas, I'm going to go ahead and get sofas. There are 49,233 sofas. You can view sofas in 3D or in 2D. 3D, 2D. You can open this up to be 4 columns or 2 columns, but there's even more. This just got changed. You can now look at it as 6 columns. Yeah, so it makes it even easier to shop. So we're gonna go back to the 2 columns and scroll through here for what you're looking for. Drag and drop and you're done. It's inside your model. And of course, these generic items, you're going to be able to change the width, depth, and height on these items. This is a Boolean search engine. So if I had another adjective about this sofa, maybe if I type in the word white, I get white sofas, you know, cocktail table, coffee table, round, metal, glass, you know, don't go too crazy. It's only going to go so far based on the database as the item was initially put in, but those of you with actual SKUs, names of your products, SKU numbers, vendor names, manufacturer names, Be careful with the manufacturers and vendor names right now because there's also a large database of items we've created since 2007. They're still in there. So don't take them as if you're just doing a search. You may find an item that is manufactured by that company that we built, but it may be discontinued. So don't take that as a total shopping excursion. Actually look inside their vendor, if it's actually listed in your vendors. And where are those vendors? Let's talk about that. These are the categories, a general library inside Floorplanner. But if you hit the brands button up here, and you don't happen to be an enterprise account that has blocked you from seeing other people's work or competitors, this is available to you. Ethan Allen, Our House, Room and Board, Mitchell Gold, Bob Williams, over in Europe, Riviera Maison, etc. Yeah, you could go like Ethan Allen, great account of ours. And you can go down and say, let's look at their 5,406 items. These are live, these are real items. This is their record keeping. This is what their designers are using, and you have access to it with the material changes and all to drag and drop inside your model. This is going to get better and better with every day. Just keep watching it, just keep scrolling. Next tab down, you're talking about paints, pull down menu, different paint manufacturers out there. Those of us in the United States that do not know what Dulux is, it's a European-based company. Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, something we're more familiar with, certainly Benjamin Moore and the different paint collections that Benjamin Moore, historical colors of Benjamin Moore. Find a paint color, left click, drag, and drop it and paint a wall. If you happen to drag that over and hold your shift key when you're painting one wall, it will paint the entire room. Hold shift, paints whole room. Don't hold shift, paints one wall. You can also enter a custom mix paint color up here. So if you don't see the manufacturer that you want, Google search the paint company, the name of the color from the fan deck, and ask Google for the hex number, HEX. It's a numeric value mix for that paint. And you can go ahead and have Floorplanner custom mix your paint for you. And you can even favorite any paint color or even a custom mixed paint color for your future use with these little eyes in the upper left-hand corner that you can favorite it to your list, and then it'll show up in this star up here as your category of favorites. Next tab down, materials. These are the general materials inside Floorplanner. There's woods, carpet, stone, tile, wallpaper, outdoor materials, roofing materials, paving materials, your gardens, your garden pavers, etc. Spanish tile roofs, grass with daisies, water. Yes, you can build a lake. But there's swimming pools with coping, but they're not inside the materials library. They're actually, yeah, they're back in the furniture because that's where the three-dimensional items are. So yeah, you can find swimming pools under the furniture tab. Last tab over here. Remember I said you got to go back to your home dashboard to see where your exports are that you created, your renderings. But now when you're in the project itself, you can also see the renderings that you created just for that project with this last tab over here, which is your exports tab. And this will show, we haven't made anything yet, this will show where your little preview images of the renderings you created, your PDFs, your JPEG images, your camera views. They'll all be stored here also. They'll still be on your homepage also, but they'll be here inside your project. And you can select them, you can view them, you can say it was a bad image, I can delete it from here and say it's a great image, I want to download a copy to my device, you can download it from here. Last button, lower left-hand corner, little question mark, shortcuts, hotkeys. Although I prefer that you actually download that document that I showed you earlier. It's a little bit more detailed, easier to understand, but if you need a quick reference, it's available here. So let's do something. Let's build something. Let's go to the hammer. I'm going to trace a background. Don't have to, but I think it's valuable. So we're going to go down to background settings and say, okay, choose the file. That model I showed you at the very beginning, I actually went to the real estate agent's website where they posted that floor plan. I took it from their website as a JPEG, put it on my computer because it could be a JPEG, PNG, or a PDF, put it on my computer, and then upload it to my project. I'm going to do it again. So it's still on my computer. So they go find it, choose it. And there it is on my computer. Select it, say open it. And it goes twirling around up there and deposits itself inside my plan. Yay, it's great. If you count my little blocks in the background, you're going to know this room is not 5 feet wide. That's for sure. So that being said, we need to scale this to real world scale. Way to scale something to real world scale is you need to know from one point to a second point an actual dimension, a real world dimension. So if you had dimension lines on your document from point to point, it would know what it is, point to point, great. If you had a scaling block, architectural scaling block, point to point, it tells you what it is also. I don't have a scaling block and I don't have a dimension line, but this room is telling me that it's supposed to be 11 feet wide from drywall surface to drywall surface, which are 2 points. So in the upper left-hand corner where it says set scale of floor plan image, you just select that button. It says, hey, click on the canvas to draw. It wants the 2 points. So if I left click right on the drywall edge is 1 point and go across the way to the other side, left click the second point, drywall to drywall, how big should it be? Type it in as 11 feet, hit enter. Big plan, 1 foot equals 1 foot, done. I like to do it a second time. So again, hit the button and left click, because you're gonna notice when it gets bigger, the little crosshairs get smaller and tighter and more refined. And even if you didn't nail this properly, you can move it, get it right on point, right on the drywall edge, and type it in again as 11 feet. And it tweaked the background just a little bit to make it a little bit more accurate. This is real world scale now at this point. So with this being real world scale, I'll hit the back button up here. It's nothing but a giant sheet of paper, but it's real world. So we'll go to furniture, which is also real world. And let's get out of Ethan Allen for a second, and we'll go back and look for that general sofa. Maybe we're looking for a client's existing sofa, something similar to their style. Hopefully not that one. Maybe just an oatmeal colored sofa, 3 cushion, couple toss pillows on it, left click, drag and drop. Great. Now, it may look like that, but it may not be the dimensions. So remember what I said, left click on anything once, left-hand sidebar, go to the settings, gears. Anytime you see a gear or settings, more power tools, hit that. It may look like that, but it's not 90 inches. Maybe it's actually 82 inches. We'll change the size of the sofa to 82, maybe the seat on its room more like 36 inches, and I could even change the height if I wanted to. It's done. The model's been reconfigured. I can put it into place. I can select the sofa and have the edit bubbles around here where I can duplicate it. I can free scale it, although I would rather enter actual dimensions. So you can rotate it both directions 90 degrees. You can flip it left and right. If you have a chaise end on one side, you need to have it on the other side. You can do so. You can delete an individual item, and you can also take the fin down here at the bottom and rotate it to something otherwise. Now I'm going to put it back the way it was with the undo button up here and share with you something. One thing I forgot to tell you, excuse me, that white sheet of paper up there in the upper left-hand corner. Whoopsie. Be careful with this. This little white sheet of paper up here actually is an erase button. It will erase your entire project. I choose not to use this. I'd rather delete individual items like I was just showing you, but if you choose to, you can wipe out an entire project. It will not delete your project, but it will erase it, and it will ask you, are you sure you want to do this? So be careful. That is not start brand new project. No, that's an erase button, so be careful. I'm going to select the sofa and continue my space planning by copying it, rotating it, putting 2 sofas facing each other. Cool. And we're space planning. You know, we haven't been built the room. We're just space planning right on top of there. I can build a coffee table and find ourselves a coffee table out there. Take this little guy, little round guy, left click, drag and drop. And it's too small. Make another one. 2 scatter tables next to each other. Notice that it's snapping. There's a snap feature inside Floorplanner. If you want snap to turn off, hold your S key on your keyboard and snap will be off. So I'm gonna leave it on for right now. Place that piece over here. I want to get a plant over here in the corner. So let's look for plants. Type in the word plants, plants. I'll grab this tropical plant, drag it in. And the cool thing about nature, as long as it's not an artificial plant that you're selling, you know, go to free scale on that. And we'll just free scale it to make nature conform to our design. I could change the height in the settings if I wanted to. I also want to show you how to move things around for accessorizing. So I want to put in here a bookcase. Find ourselves a bookcase out there, something boring like this little guy, left click, drag and drop, and rotate it. I don't care what's front or back because I can't tell, but we can rotate it when we're in 3D. Accessories, there's tons of them inside here. You know, that's when you personalize the space so your client relates to it, you know, certainly. This is a nasty thing that I hated to do when I was doing CAD work for other companies, because building accessories takes time, very laborious, but Floor Planner's done it for you. White paper rack books, these are my favorite. I'm gonna drag these over and put it on top of my bookcase. We'll worry about what shelf it goes on in a second in 3D. Okay, there is no room created. It's just a giant sheet of paper floor plan, real world scale, drop the furniture on top, real world scale. It's real space planning. You're done. If all you want to do is a 2D image, it's a wireframe drawing is 2D with the wireframe button up there, or the full materials that we just did. You want to save this as a document, go in the upper right hand corner, hit the export button. Have some options out there. Like I said, do the PDF. Don't go for the JPEG because the resolution, you can see it's going to be better. Hit the PDF, and then you have those options: scale to fit or to scale, 1/4 inch, landscape view, letter size, architectural C, architectural D. We'll go for letter. And I want to put a scale bar on my document. Turn the toggle switch on. Ding, 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 ding. All done. Hit export. Done. Gone out to the cloud, come back to you in a few minutes. I defy it to be minutes, it's gonna be seconds, and it's gonna come back. You're off and running. Okay, but we don't have to wait for it. Keep working, you can stay in the project, leave the project, go away, have coffee, whatever. But we're gonna trace out the room because I can see where the room is. So go to the hammer, and we're gonna do the draw room. Draw room means from one corner to another corner, 4 walls, ceiling and floor, all at one time. Just drag out a box. Or you're going to trace a different shaped room, wall by wall by wall by wall by wall, angles, curves, etc., and close the circuit. Very important. Add openings, doors, and windows later. Do not try to account for those doors and windows. But we're going for draw room for right now. And the first thing it asks you is, how thick are your walls? Interior partitions here in the United States, that preview image that just slid through, don't worry about that. It'll disappear by itself. It's just saying your image is finished. Render's done. How thick are your walls? Interior walls here in the United States, we're talking about a 3.5 inch stud wall, metal or wood, 5/8 inch gypsum board on either side of it. That would be a 5 inch thick wall for me. Change that to 5 inches. How high are your walls? Your wall height and your ceiling height for a flat ceiling are synonymous with each other. So a 10-foot high wall is a 10-foot high ceiling. Your walls are doing the automated creation of your ceiling. So always remember that. Change that out to 10 feet for my wall height for a contemporary room. Raised from floor 0 because walls start on the ground at 0. This cursor over here is ready to go. We want corner to corner to draft out, and we'll just trace this room. But the cursor and your drafting is going to be drafting the wall from the middle of the wall, not the edges of the wall, always from the middle, very important. And that little blue circle trailing behind there has a diameter to it as the thickness we told the wall to be. So 5 inches, all cool. Now, so I want that corner, so you can see it just traces right inside that wall, it fits, and here, and I want that corner where both would meet, left click, drag out a room. And I'm drafting from the middle of the wall, but I'm lining up the edges of the wall because I can trace it because I know it's to scale, and let go. But watch what color it turns on the inside of the room. Let go. It turned beige, tan. Very important because this shows you that you have completed your closed circuit of walls around the perimeter. And by turning beige and tan, it also means you have a floor and you have a ceiling. If it stays white inside and you did not complete the circuit of your walls, or you didn't make those connections on the corners properly, you won't have a floor and you won't have a ceiling. It's going to confuse you down the road. So let Floorplanner do what it does automated and complete the circuit, and then add your doors, windows, and openings, open floor plan later. The dimensions in here, 11 feet, 1 5/8. I missed it by 1 5/8 inches, darn. You can select the interior dimension, change it to be the exact dimension, and it'll physically move the walls. I want it to be 11 feet. I can take this wall and push it downward with this tab. I can take this wall, which obviously is too low, push it upward with this tab, or split the difference if it's so small, I don't care. But I'm going to push the tab on the right-hand side, and looks good. It's exactly 11 feet. So yes, we are architecturally sound, and it's the proper dimensions. But I can also see there's a sliding glass door down here. So I can go over here down to placing doors, And you can view doors in 2D, you can view doors in 3D. Hover over top tells you what it is. I like 3D because you can see where the glass is. Left click, drag and drop the sliding glass doors. They snap into the wall by themselves. I can select that door. Remember, left click, left-hand sidebar, go to its settings, change the actual spec of the door if I know the width, depth, and height of it. But I can also trace it. I can drag this out. And if this is good enough for me, it's good enough for you. We agree upon that. We're done. Okay, room's finished as far as I'm concerned. So I'm done with the background at this moment. We can always trace out other rooms later, but I'm going to go ahead and hit my B key on my keyboard. It's one of the shortcut hotkeys. B for background, turns it off. B for background, turns it on. So it'll always be there. So you can always go back to this client's project later and keep adding more rooms, more work. So let's do some other things. This room type has not been defined. So if I left click on the room, left-hand sidebar tells you, hey, room type unnamed. Select that and find a room. Do I want you to be a kid's room, a bedroom, a toilet, a living room? Okay, color coded. And we're gonna put our little namesake over there. Now, it knows it's the living room, so all these three buttons over here are gonna work. It's gonna be black line drawing or the room type coloring or full color spectrum. Now, what about adding a floor material? Let's go over here to the materials tab. Let's look for wood. Go look for one of my favorites called Nordic. It's just a very nice ash color. Plank floor, left click, drag and drop. You can also select this, go to its settings, and you can change the settings for its orientation, thickness of the plank, length of the planks, etc. You can also paint a wall. Let's go down to paint. Let's go to Benjamin Moore's. Let's find something in the blue. Grab the blue, hover over the wall, outside wall or inside surface. What do you want to do? Cover the entire white circle with the paint and let go. Remember, if you held your shift key and painted one wall, it would have painted the entire room. Got a painted wall, got some furniture. Okay, we're good. Again, wireframe, room type, colors, could send out the export again, but we're going to go right to 3D. Upper right-hand corner, go to 3D. Bird's eye view. Let's center it on my screen with the bullseye. I can left click and twirl around inside the space. Notice that the walls are disappearing. If this has ever happened to you and you go, why is that happening? It's a setting inside your 3D settings. Sometimes you certainly do want those walls to disappear for the rendering. Hit the camera plus up here and they actually render this image if you want to. See that Bob put the furniture in backwards, oops. But to turn off this feature for 3D, upper right-hand corner, and the settings tab, 3D settings, cutaway walls. We're gonna turn it off. And now you don't have that problem. So we can just twirl around and peekaboo through the windows, and that's all you get. This is a bird's eye view, aerial view, upper right-hand corner with this bird's nest, if you will. Now, if I want to actually go inside the room for the perspective view we're about to create, hit the walking man in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll actually take you inside the space at eye level. So I can left click and twirl around inside the space and use my arrow keys on my keyboard, the arrow back, arrow forward, arrow right, arrow left, arrow keys on my keyboard and my mouse to position myself as to what view I want to have for my rendering. Well, now when you're in 3D view, like we talked earlier, I can select items in 3D and I can move them out into the world, and bring them back. And you also have these 3D handles in here that you can move the item orthogonally. And the ring on the bottom, you can rotate it. And you also have the ability to elevate them. Great for accessorizing on shelf units for sure, visually while you're inside the room space. But while it's selected, you get the left-hand sidebar. Yeah, you can copy the item in 3D. You can delete the item in 3D. You can rotate it 90 degrees. You can flip it. You can also go to its settings. And you could change the dimensions on here. This comes in really handy when you're accessorizing shelf units and you have lots of accessories, little picture frames and plants and candles and things you want to fit on shelves. You can change the sizes of them and duplicate them while you're in 3D. If you want to enter this numeric information instead of actually free scaling stuff over here, you can go ahead and raise from floor a specific distance, rotate a specific angle, and then you have tilt. You can actually tilt items, not just rotate items, but you can also tilt items. Great for decorative pillows on sofas. So it's all available to you. But this piece of furniture I put in backwards. If I go to its settings and say, hey, it's negative 180 degrees, I'm just going to turn it around at 0. So it's 180 the other way. And take my books and start accessorizing. So bring a lot of accessories in here and then just put them on the proper shelves and then use your commands to go ahead and put them in position. And I personally like to crank them just a little bit to a rotation so they don't look so rigid. Makes for a little bit more realism when you do your rendering. So with all these components in place, I want to make the camera view, actually name this camera view. Hit the camera plus sign up here in the center, and that camera plus sign, it says, hey, camera number 3 has been added. So we're going to work with camera 3. Left-hand sidebar is all about camera 3. So not only can I still use my mouse and still use my keyboard for arrow keys moving around, but on the camera 3 over here, I can actually take the physical camera and I can move it. Change the eye level on it. I could change the eye level numerically if I wanted to. I can also use this triangle down here to change the target point that I'm trying to look at. You also have a field of view down here, like with any camera, it's a wide angle lens, like wide angle. Field of view, if you take it all the way out, yeah, looks like a bowling alley. More is not always better. When you do this, like with any wide angle lens, it's going to start distorting the room. You want to capture the whole room, but you want more of a magazine quality image. So keep your field of view as small as possible. And you'll notice that as you get your field of view smaller, your camera moves forward. So if you're needing to capture more of the room, you may use your arrow keys to back up, but keep the field of view small. That way your legs of your furniture are not splaying out. So if this is my image, I'm looking good. I want to put a scene outside the window. If I go to light and scenery of camera 3, preset horizon lines that are available to us over here, great. I could pick one of these or upload a custom image that we talked about earlier. I'll just take the image we had before, horizon line. And it follows my eye level, my camera height that I'd already predetermined. I want to bring some sunshine coming inside this room. It's the sundial in the lower left-hand corner. The white circle represents the atmosphere of the Earth. Outer edge is the horizon. The blue circle represents the sun. So if I put the sun in the very center, it's at 12 noon, right above my head. Does nothing for me because I want the sun to be low in the sky so it comes through my window. So if I take the sun, push it out to the outer edge of the atmosphere horizon and skirt around to a different angle, it's coming through the window. And you do want this, so please do take advantage of the sun, and then you can change the time of day by pushing it more inward if you cared to. So I got the sun coming in through my window, great. This is always cool when you're making a presentation for your clients to say, wow, you just impressed them because, wow, you knew where the sun was coming. That's really great. If you don't know where their house is oriented and you don't know where the sun's directional is, lie to them. Make the sun come through the window anyway with a little disclaimer, hey, I don't really know where your sun's coming from, but it's going to make for a more beautiful rendering. That plus the artificial lighting that you're going to add, we're just doing sun right now, but lamps, lights, recessed can lights for a ceiling, the mix of natural and the hardwired lighting fixtures inside the room really makes for the beautiful rendering. So we got the sun coming in here. We've got all this is done. We need to make sure we communicate this information to the cloud before we render it. So hit the back button on the left-hand side, and there's an update camera button that's now active because it wants to be updated. So just hit the update camera button for camera 3, and it says, hey, camera 3 has been updated. It's already done. Is that fast? It's already done. Now render it. Upper right-hand corner, export like we did for 2D. Hit export. And it's an SD level quality rendering. They're going to be nice. We can do better. I think HD is really good for your clients' presentations. 3D, SD, JPEG image, great, looking good, but current angle. Current angle is point and shoot. I moved the camera, I rendered it. I moved the camera, I rendered it with no name to it. I like to name my cameras to secure them because I may want to go back to them, which I typically will, and re-render it later from the exact same point. So make a record of it. And those settings that we just created are associated with camera 3. So let's find camera 3. Pull down menu and pick camera 3. Camera 3 has been picked. So all those additional benefits that we just did in there with the view and the sunshine, it's all nailed down for camera 3, and hit export image. Goes out into the cloud, says it'll be done in a few minutes. I'm still waiting on seconds for this because it doesn't really come back fast. Okay, don't have to wait for it. Let's go back to 2D and let's continue, because this is where I want to go ahead and show you how to actually apply a material custom to a wall. Thanks for waiting for it. And the other image is going to skirt on as soon as it's rendered also, and then I'll show you where those renderings are stored also. Okay, the rendering's finished, great, and it'll pass away by itself. If you want to upload your own JPEG PNG image as a wallpaper, client's artwork, anything custom that you have a JPEG PNG image of, you go to 2D and you select the wall you want to apply that material to. So I'm gonna put it on this end wall over here on the inside. So if I left click the wall, remember left click once, left click, left-hand sidebar, side 1 or side 2. Side 1, side 2. Side 2 is wider than side 1 because it's outside, right? Because that's thickness of the walls. So if I stay on as side 1, I want the side 1 front view of this side, and I say side 1 front view. Front view, straight on elevation of that wall. We can choose paint colors like we did in 2D. We can go back to material library and Floorplanner and use materials in there. Or third option, uploads. Uploads are unique to you as a user of your account or you as a sub-user of your company's account. This is your list. You can choose files and they will be inside your library. I've done them for many different reasons, not just wallpaper, because there are many different reasons. You use your imagination at that point, but choose files, they're here. Don't be afraid to add too many because you also have trash cans in here. If you ever want to get rid of anything, personally, I never get rid of anything, so they're all in there. And they'll be in there every time you open a new project or an existing project. So if you want to reuse something that you know worked well for another client, kind of cool. What I'm going to look for example, right now, we're going to talk about putting wallpaper on the wall. I'm going to do artwork too, but we'll just go for wallpaper. Okay, here's a wallpaper. Now, I went to Seabrook Wall Coverings website and I found a sample of their wallpaper. It's that one. I took it, put it on my computer, uploaded it by hitting the Choose File button, and it's now in my library. To apply it to the wall, I'm going to select it and apply it to the wall. Let's talk about wallpaper samples for just a second, though. When you get your digital sample, you preferably would like to go ahead and have what's called a seamless sample. You can request that from your vendors, etc. Seamless samples are digital that the left edge matches the right edge and the bottom edge matches the top edge. So when it repeats, it's a continuous pattern. If you don't have a seamless sample, which you can do, when the edges come together and they don't match, it's going to look a little boxy like a grid. You can do that, just doesn't look as nice. So seamless sample is important, or at least get the whole pattern repeat yourself and you can see where it begins and ends. So crop it on your device, even on your phone, and know where it begins and ends, top and bottom, and then take that image as a created seamless sample and insert it. Also, if your vendor would please tell you, what does that size sample actually represent in a real world? What are the actual dimensions of the product? Because Floorplanner will accept the width and height of that item also, so you can scale it properly. So I'm going to take the sample that I put in here. It is a seamless sample from Seabrook. I'm going to left click and pick it, and it wallpapers the entire wall. Yeah, that sample stretched 10 feet high. No. It filled the entire wall. That's the first command, fill. Take the pull down menu and go down to free. Fill to free. Free is like what we did with the plant earlier. I can go ahead and rescale this visually. So if I have the physical sample and I know this is 10 feet high, I know where 5 feet is, you can start sort of guessing at it and proportionally kind of make this work. But this sample did tell me, and I found it from the vendor, this is 2 feet wide and it's 2 feet high. So now I know it's the exact scale of the sample. It's ready to be repeated. We can repeat it horizontally like a chair rail, column vertically, or both directions to wallpaper the entire wall. So if we take the pull down over here, it's horizontally, vertically, or both directions. Hit both directions. Wallpapers the entire wall, all done. This is where it gets a little counterintuitive. Sorry for this. There's no done button. There's no accept button. There's no I love it button. There's no button. When this image looks the way you want it to, you actually close the window. That's the counterintuitive part. So if I say close the window, while the wall is still selected, you can see the preview image. It's on the wall. It's good. And to see that actually, we can go into 3D. We're inside the room. I'm going to carefully move around to not get you too dizzy. Yeah, there's the wallpaper. It's actually really pretty. It's like rope. I'm going to use my arrow keys, arrow back, arrow back, arrow back, arrow back, arrow back, back. Use my mouse, navigate around. And yeah, this is not even rendered yet, but ta-da! What's so cool about this? That wallpaper does not exist in the Floorplanner library because you can upload your own JPEG PNG image. If you wanted to do a picture of your client's artwork from their home, you took a picture of it, you cropped it, and you know how wide and high it was, you don't have to repeat it, just put it on the wall, scale it, and put it into place. Then you had to design around your client's art or piece of art from a showroom floor or from a catalog, etc. So placing art, doing wallpapers, murals, maybe you have special paneling that needs to be placed on a wall, certain wainscot or molding, trim, Georgian architecture. If you have a JPEG PNG image of anything, scale it and place it on the wall. Very, very valuable. I think you're going to enjoy this. This is a great feature. I always get asked, hey, Bob, when are we doing it for the floor and for the ceiling? Not yet. Keep your eyes open for that. I keep asking for it too, because we'd like to maybe do our own custom flooring materials, custom area rugs. Yeah, in time, but just not yet. This is really valuable though for wall surfaces. So please do have fun with that. We're going to go back to 2D just for a second. And remember those renderings we created earlier. Remember I said we're still in the project. It's called Bob. And over here on the left-hand side, very bottom tab over here for exports of that project. Here they are. 1 and 2. So remember I said you can download a copy and you can trash a copy if you want to get rid of something. But I'm going to just open it by selecting it. My PDFs open in Adobe, and here they come. And there's the image we created. It's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. Yes, it's a giant sheet of paper that printed in the background, 8.5 by 11 1/4-inch scale. And it has a scaling block on there, and there's the furniture. So we didn't even build the model. We didn't build the room. This is just to do a physical layout. That's a proper layout. If I go back and say, well, let's look at the rendering. Let's click on that. Nice. Of course, we want artificial lighting, and I want some lamps and I want some recessed can lights. I want that mix of natural sun and artificial lighting inside that room. Of course, we certainly should take this further. We have skirting boards, baseboards, crown molding, coving moldings, artwork, draperies, area rugs, accessorize. Yeah, there's so much more yet to do, but you can see the quality. This was an SD level rendering. These are nice. Personally, I would rather do it as an HD because when you zoom in on it, it just makes the pixel count tighter and more refined, much cleaner. But you can see they are all totally photorealistic. And I'd probably want a real actual view of inserted outside the window would be nice. Okay, enough said. Let's get back to our PowerPoint presentation and get you all on your way for today. And we'll wrap this up with just a few talking points. These are like 4 models of mine. I just want to, as reminders to me to share information with you, is that there's 180,000 plus assets in Floorplanner, and at this moment, about 80,000 brands that are out there. Cool thing about the objects, the 3-dimensional furniture pieces and accessories, including the T-Rexes and the unicorns, they play nice with each other. They can touch, they can merge, they can be resized. You can mix and match and put pieces together to make something that doesn't exist in Floorplanner. Other software programs I have found, when you have items touch, converge, or get too close to each other, they make a black screen of death and they do not render. You do not have that problem with Floorplanner. You can go ahead and play with creating your own entities by using other items that could be resized. So be creative. If there's something you don't have, you might be able to put a few items together to represent what you have. I talked about the different multiple designs that you can create, up to 10 per floor. Yeah, show different layouts and options for your client, but I also like to do this for camera views. I showed you about the field of view issue. Sometimes you didn't want something in your image. Maybe I didn't want the dining room table, the rug, the chandelier, but I didn't want to corrupt my original design. So I can take in my original design, duplicate it, have a secondary design for it just for the camera view, delete all those peripheral items that I didn't want in the camera view, and not worry about it. Maybe I'll name this design camera 1. No big deal. This also is a multiple design that I created purposely, because as I showed you earlier, keeping the field of view very, very, very small keeps everything nice and linear. nice and vertical, doesn't splay out like those bar stools. Very important that they stayed perfect. So I got the field to be very small. When I got it very small, I pushed my camera way forward into the kitchen, but I had to physically move my camera backward to capture the rest of the room. Well, as soon as I started pulling my camera back, it slammed into the wall behind me and went through the wall, messed up everything. So by making a duplicate of the design, I literally stretched the wall backwards so I could place my camera in the proper placement with a small field of view. So you can stretch walls, but I didn't want to corrupt my original design. So this is just a copy of it, just a duplicate. By pulling the wall out, putting my camera in the right place, made a great rendering. You don't even know that I did that because the wall is behind me. Cute trick to keep things very nice and magazine quality, but even capturing more of the room with a small field of view, which makes things nice and linear. That being said, why didn't I delete the wall? And Bob, just delete the wall. No, if you delete the wall, you wouldn't have a floor and you wouldn't have a ceiling because it's the automated system, and it would flood the room with natural light and it would be a mess. So cute little trick. Moving items around in 3D, as I showed you earlier, I could not have done the decor in this room without all those tools because of placing all these accessories and rotating and putting them on the proper shelves. Artwork on the wall, artwork adheres to the wall. How nice. So I can move these around, how do we do these compositions on the walls if we're not standing there going, well, what works right? Bigger, smaller? You want to make those design decisions in 3D. Absolutely. So artwork, real cool. And remember, you could pick a piece of art that's in there and say, oh, I need something as a placeholder that's going to be actually bigger than that. Then change the dimensions while you're in 3D and drag it into position. Not a problem. Adding additional trims and such to make items, actual composition look more realistic. Baseboards here in the US are called skirting boards in Europe, and we are a European-based platform. So when you see the word skirting out there, skirting boards, baseboards, get used to the term, you're going to see it listed. Crown molding at the top is called coving, C-O-V-I-N-G. Light switches, they're still light switches. Put them in there because psychologically you start thinking it's a real room. It's not just a created electronic room. Sunshine, it's coming in behind me. You can see the nice light, soft casts of shadows down here at the bottom. Mirrors, be careful. Mirrors will tell on you. They're very truthful. They are going to reflect the other side of the room. So if you didn't finish the decor on the other side of the room, everybody's going to see it. So finish your decor if you got mirrors inside the room. Recessed can lights in the ceiling, my favorite. I like to add general lighting inside a room. Small 1-inch, 3-inch diameters, very contemporary, or you can resize them to be the old-fashioned 6-inch diameter recessed cans, hi-hats. Get them closer to the walls. They make those nice triangles of light. And dimmer switches, yes, or turn them on, turn them off. Last image on our way out. I always like to tell on myself with this because it was a great image. I was very happy with this, but I missed something. Yeah, it's good. I got can lights up here that's bouncing light on top of the furniture. I got that perspective issue going on just right because I did the field of view and a duplicate design just to get myself far enough back, but field of view small enough to capture the whole room. Lights are close to the wall, making nice triangles over there. I got the skirting boards going on. I got the crown molding coving going on. What I missed was this beautiful, dark, rich floor. Dark, very dark. And then over here on the right-hand side, I have this beautiful Tudor window with these great diamond mullions inside of it. That's what I missed. Missed the opportunity. I should have had the sun coming through this window with that diamond pattern of mullions and made beautiful diamond cast sunshine pattern all across this dark floor in the foreground, which would have rolled across the carpet, which would have gone up the side of these high polished brass end table and the trim on the chair, and the chair itself as a navy blue velvet chair. The sunshine coming through here would have made this image so much better. It would not have changed my space planning. It would not have changed the selection of the furniture that I placed in there. But by taking a little extra time and care, I could have taken advantage of the tools available to me to make a more artistic, creative, impactful image for my client's first view of my design. Didn't do it. Still a great image, great, but I'd rather nail it down. Let's make the image even better. So know that you have this available to make a more artistic, more creative image. It's functionally correct, but take the time to be a little bit more creative because you have the ability to do so, and there's no additional expense to make multiple renderings. So make as many renderings as you care to until you get the best one and show that as your first impact for the wow factor with your client for sure. The Advanced Tools webinar on Tuesday afternoons, come on back and see me for that for sure. It's 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in the US, and all the items we have yet to talk about, tons. Since 2007, making space planning and interior design accessible to everybody. Mission statement of Floorplanner has been, still is, and will continue to be so. Although I say a lot of words and I'm sharing a lot of information with you, the goal of Floorplanner is to keep the platform itself simple. Simple toggle switch, simple selection button. The elaborate renderings that you're getting are all magical by the efforts that are being done by the programmers over in the Netherlands and behind the curtain. Let them handle that for you. Our intention is to always keep it simple from your perspective as you open up the platform. I want to make it comfortable, usable, understandable. And we're going to continue to do so, although we have a lot of additional advances coming on board because the technology keeps changing. We have opportunities to give you new tools, and through your own feedback back to us, we're communicating that back to the programmers and saying, hey, we've heard that there's a great need for this industry to have this feature or that feature. We can go crazy and just keep building, but we've got to keep the platform simple from your perspective, which is our goal to maintain. So I think you're going to enjoy this. Keep your eyes open as we go forward with those additional advances, but know that our goal is to not make another complicated software out there for you. So I hope you enjoyed your introduction of Floorplanner. I hope it's answered some questions you might have had about the structure of Floorplanner, how it works for you. And certainly I hope it's inspired you to take Floorplanner further and utilize it to its maximum that's in there. Hope you can join me for the future webinars and future recordings that we're going to have posted. If I can help you with anything, I typically do help pro accounts up through enterprise accounts, but even if you're a basic or plus and you have a question and I can get you over a simple training hurdle, feel free to drop me an email at bob@floorplanner.com. Appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you at a future recording or webinar. Take care. Thank you.